parents have been a part of building this organization for the past 26 years, and I'm only 23 years old. I might look older because of the hair, but it's just bad genes. I'm only 23 years old, I promise. So I've been around this entire environment all throughout my life. And parents gave me the opportunity to try out different businesses. God knows I want to become many things. I want to become a real estate professional. My passion for that fell through later on. I want to become a fashion designer. That fell off. A catering business. You name it, I tried it. So it wasn't until I came across this organization, not came across, but walked into the office and I really understood what this organization's about. That is where I decided to plant my flag and build my career from then. So with that being said, it's been an uphill 5 year journey. And since then, I've reached multiple different milestones. I'm one of the senior brokers with our organization and moving on to being better and doing better throughout our career because all in all, we're trying to impact families, financial education, provide true value to communities, to families. And it wasn't until I went through our own financial literacy workshops that I truly understood the value of financial education. Even though for me that you might think that I was a part of this environment all my life, I would be sound and I'd make good financial decisions because my parents are in the industry. Unfortunately, society still had a way of influencing me to make bad financial decisions. And at the age of 18, peak pandemic, no job, I found myself $13,000 into credit card debt. Diane, I don't know about you, but $13,000 as an 18-year-old with no job is very hard to pay off. So it wasn't until I came into this industry, to this career, into the workshops that we offer that I was able to then learn and understand how I could become my own money manager, how I can pay off that debt in one third of the time. And thankfully to this business, I was able to pay it off immediately, not one third of the time. I was able to create that extra source of income in order to make a difference, not only in my life, but also in families that I help at the same time. So you guys are in for a treat today. And I mean that. I mean that. Flora, Derek, Teresa, all of you guys here, look at that. We have 550 people on this call starting off. And watch, as we go through, more people and more people are going to be trickling in because there's a need for what we do. There's a need for financial literacy. It is the only equalizer in America, and everyone needs to have it. No matter what background, no matter what walk of life, every single person needs to have access to financial literacy. So you guys are going to be in for a very large treat because we have some of the largest leaders in the financial education industry. You guys are going to be hearing from one of our executive vice chairman, Virginia Nersessian, who actually is my mom. Very big shocker right there. But yes, she is my mom, 26 years in the industry. And man, if it wasn't for her, I don't know what career I would be in. But a little bit about her, it's not that she was in finance all her life and that's why she's good at it. No, in fact, not. She came to this country when she was very little. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was like 8 to 13 years old. She came to the country, and as she graduated high school, unfortunately, some things fell off. Her dad had passed away at a very young age, so she had to drop out of college, get three jobs. She worked as a paralegal. She worked in retail at Macy's, and she even worked in real estate. And when she came across this organization, she understood that why not my family? Why did no one approach me with financial education, with financial knowledge, solutions that could have saved me the time, the headache? But all in all, she's taken this mission to a point where ultimately she's impacting so many families with over 21 different offices across America. She's impacting families left and right, thousands of lives, thousands of children who got more funding to go to college, thousands of families protected, investments being built up, retirement tax free. Those are all big deals. So she's going to be going over the importance of saving your future, having that financial knowledge to then move forward ahead. And after her, you guys are going to be hearing from one of our CEOs out from Dallas, Texas, with 28 years in the industry, Mr. Dewey Trong. He's going to be going over, yes, you guys have the knowledge, the education, but what are the steps I need to take in order to reach my financial independence, my financial security? What is out there in the industry? Because we can go out there buying a 401k, buying an IRA, and not know what that looks like, not buying long-term care life insurance, but what does that really do? Virginia, I hate to put you on the spot, but I remember when she first came to America. I mean, she told me, I don't remember this. She told me because I wasn't alive back then. But she told me that when she was offered a 401k from her employer, she thought that her entire goal with the 401k was to accumulate $401,000 in that account. So financial literacy, there's a huge lack in. There's a huge lack in no matter what walk of life you come back. So Dewey Trong, who used to be a restaurant owner, now in the financial industry for 28 years, making over $500,000, is going to be going over that with you. What solutions we have in order for us to better our financial lives. And ultimately, you know, do you guys agree that there's a need for financial education, that there's a need for financial literacy? 100%, absolutely. So if there's a need, you think it's good for people, and if you see yourself sharing it, is it okay that you make money while sharing it? 100%. And for that, we have an incredible closing speaker, Mr. Arlex Flores, coming out of Houston, Texas, one of our senior executive vice chairman, making over $1.5 million every single year. And get this, Virginia, he used to be a debt collector. He used to be a debt collector when those calls you get. But once this opportunity came across his page, his desk, it was a no-brainer for him because he was calling those families and asking for money to pay their debts. But during that time, he understood that people are facing financial challenges. So when this organization came across his way, he understood that he can take this and better people's lives, help them get out of debt and build up their financial career. And since that, 22 years in the industry, he's one of the top leading leaders in the entire industry with the Hispanic community. So with that being said, I'm going to hand the mic over to Virginia as she shares with you guys a little bit more about the importance of financial literacy. So with that being said, please welcome our Executive Vice Chairman, Virginia Nersessian.
All right. Good afternoon. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well. I've got my assistant sneaking in here to quickly. If you guys can share, allow me to share. There we go. Thank you, Stepan, for that incredible introduction. It's important to be able to understand the value of why you're here, right? And when it comes to looking at the screen and right on the screen, I think the cover page says it all, saving your future. I always joke and say, who the heck are we to say that we can save your future, or you should be saving your future, or your future needs to be saving to begin with? Stepan went over a little bit about my background, and I'm not going to go too much into it because he discussed it. But really, in reality, are we not all being left behind, right? We're all being left behind in one capacity or another because we don't know what we don't know. And we are so busy with life. We're so busy the first part of our life that we don't really think about the second part of our life. It just getting old just becomes a default setting. And then, we have these default understandings of Social Security. It's supposed to take care of us, go to school, get a degree, get a good job, and your 401k is going to take care of you. The company you work for is going to take care of you. Simply said, we do not live in those times anymore. We really don't. So if we don't understand the basic principles of really truly how do we build a financial foundation, how do I build self-security, not social security, not social insecurity, but really self-security. And I think it starts with really understanding that if you're not here to save your own future, nobody's going to do it for you. The government's not coming, your boss is not going to do it, your bank's not going to do it. So you're left alone. You really are left alone. And oftentimes we're left alone without a solution. Well, let me tell you this. You don't have to go through facing challenges alone. You really don't. And there are a lot of challenges we go through. I remember 26 years ago when I got into this industry, Stepan talked about being in debt for a year. I was in debt for many years, and I didn't know that there was a way out. I really didn't. I didn't understand the value of working on a budget or having financial goals. I didn't understand not spending versus saving first, right? What emergency fund? Visa or MasterCard were my emergency funds. And of course, I lived paycheck to paycheck because I was single. I was on the highest tax bracket. And no matter how much I made, at the end of the month, there were still days left where I had bills coming in, but I just didn't have enough money. So something had to change. And somebody like me, a broke young adult who was starting in life, and I didn't have any money, nobody wanted to talk to me. So I ended up building these bad decisions. And guess what? Bad decisions, bad habits add up. They actually add up. And one day when I was working for an attorney, as a paralegal, I saw the value of what he did for people. I saw the value of what education can do, how they can safeguard their assets. And I saw the tragedy also of, man, if an average person doesn't have $800 to $900 an hour just to have a conversation with this attorney who can put their life together, they weren't going to succeed. They weren't going to succeed. So I just looked at that and I said, man, how many hours do I have to work for me to be able to afford somebody like that? Somebody like that was not going to talk to my family. Somebody like that was not available to my family. So I always wondered, what do the wealthy know? What do they do that the rest of us don't do? And quite by accident, I came across this incredible organization where I started learning for myself. And I'll tell you, what was relevant 26 years ago is not relevant today. But one thing stands to be continuously true is the fact that we need financial literacy. This stuff is not taught in schools, my friends. It's not. We're supposed to catch it in life somehow, and we don't. We've got too many highs and lows and ups and downs and all the things in between that we don't really get a chance to sit down. If not us, then who? If the person who invited you here today to take a look at this incredible opportunity of expanding your own understanding, if we didn't come to you, who would come to you? Who would come to you? Everybody and their uncle is trying to sell you something. Same thing with me. I talk to the realtor, they try to sell me real estate. I talk to the insurance guy, they try to sell me insurance. I talk to the investment guy, they try to sell me investment. Nothing wrong with what they're doing, but nobody asked me what was important to me in my life. And with people living longer today, us ending up having to take care of not only our own expense, but you got to make enough money that stretches over your lifetime, longer than expected, by the way. But most of us live in a sandwich generation, don't we? Most of us have to have enough to take care of the kids. Because have you noticed, kids aren't moving out at 18? Hint, hint, I'm just kidding. Maybe I'm not. Anyway, and we're also taking care of our parents, right? Because they didn't save enough. Because healthcare back then was very different, and they thought they were going to have the benefits for the rest of their life, and it's very different. So when you think about what's happening today, and you look at that sandwich generation of how much you have to stretch the dollar, well, it ain't stretching anymore. So we got to pay attention to the rest of our lives, right? We got to pay attention not just to what we're doing today to make money, but what we're doing to influence the many tomorrows that will be coming, maybe the quality of life isn't going to be there, but we're going to be alive, and we definitely don't want to run out of money. Well, you can run out of a lot of things. In COVID, we ran out of toilet paper, but you don't run out of money, okay? You don't run out of money. So the basics principles of what it takes to build a solid financial foundation, we believe starts from building it the ground up. One of the first things that we talk about in building your financial success, and you're going to hear Dewey talk about some amazing opportunities that you're probably going to scratch your head or your chin and think, well, how come my insurance guy didn't tell me this? How come my 401k guy didn't tell me this? Because they're only looking at one product, one dimension at a time. And we believe in a holistic approach. We believe that when you make decisions in one area of your life, especially financially, that has a domino effect. It has a domino effect in other areas. And if you don't know what that's going to affect you, well, guess what? This is why we make decisions, then poor decisions, then bad decisions. Then we say things like, man, Dewey, I wish I would have known you 10 years ago. My life would have been so different. Well, better late than never. What can you do today from all the things that you learn about that can make your future brighter, right? How can you? Because there's nobody better than you. As good as I am, my dear, I cannot do for you what you can do for you. As great as Dewey is, as phenomenal as Arlex is, we cannot help you if you do not help yourself. So you got to learn about, how do I protect my income? You got to learn about, how do I earn money on my money? I don't want somebody else earning that 9 or 19%. I want to do that. Get out of debt, build an emergency fund, and have an investment strategy so that way you never run out of money. Guarantee yourself never to run out of money. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. We've got an incredible workshop that you need to attend, or else I wouldn't do justice, okay? But you got to come and learn about how much money do you need in retirement? No, $1 million is not what it used to be. It's not going to be enough. So we want to make sure that we can deliver, right? And that starts with something called the X curve. All I'm going to tell you about the X curve is this is your blueprint. your money blueprint. It's amazing to me. Most people go through life without having a blueprint. If you were building a house, would you want to have a blueprint? Yes. Do some things go wrong while you're building a house? Yes, I've been building a house for a year and a half. Let me tell you. What are some of the things? You get in debt. You got to get out of debt. We've got a debt roll-up program that's going to help you understand that the person with the biggest debt can become the biggest saver. You really can. You absolutely can. You just got to know the secrets of how money works. You got to learn a rule, a simple rule called the rule of 72. Because I promise you, if this compounding formula isn't working for you, it's going to work against you. Because if you're paying 6%, or versus you're earning 6%, your dollar is going to grow, going to double for you if you're saving it. Against you, by the time you pay off that debt, it's going to become double, triple what you originally bought. And those of you that have a credit card statement, all you got to do is look at your credit card statement. It says, if you continue making the minimum payments, you're going to pay this for the next 20 years. By the time you look at how much you end up paying them, you end up paying them 2, 3, 4, 5 times the amount. Let's start saving that money for you. The rule of 72 is going to show you how small change from 6% to 8%, take a look at that, in 36 years is going to give you so much more. What's better than 8%? 10%. Take a look at that bottom number. Again, I'm not doing justice to this sheet here. You're going to hear Dewey talk to you about in real time, going back 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, what money could have done for you. But it's not too late because we're in one of the biggest roaring economies ever. You got to take advantage of that today, because if you don't, if you're just earning barely 2, 3, 4, 5% minus taxes, minus inflation, you're barely keeping up the worth or the value of your money. And if you can't relate to saving $10,000, hey, can you save a bowl of Chipotle a day? Can you save $17 a day? That's 500 bucks a month. To put that in perspective, times 8%, times 30 years, man, that's $745,000. And if you can do it with 10%, that's over $1.1 million. Small change, my friends. That Chipotle, you're never going to remember. You're not going to remember what you had on there on that bowl. But I bet you $1.1 million can create some incredible memories, right, Dewey? Can create some incredible memories. So if you think about inflation, life is going to cost more in the future anyway. There's nothing that's going to hold you back. Take a look at that 70s, 80s today. I know you're looking at gas price 343. Not even in Texas can you find 343 anymore. I'm in California, it's like $7. Like Dewey, it's insane, right? It's $7. But whether we do something about our money or not, the cost of living is going to go up. And the only way for your money to keep up with the expenses is if you're an investor. Because if you're putting your money under the pillow, it's not growing. Minus inflation, it's dying. If you think about how much money you're going to need in the future, don't make a mistake. It's going to cost you more. Just go back. Go back when your kids were teens. Remember what you were paying for groceries and what you're paying for groceries today? What costs you $4,000 a month today, 20 years time, it's going to be almost double. Life doesn't wait for anybody, guys. Anything that you do, you want to make sure that you've got your dreams, your goals in mind. Time's going to come where you can't stretch that dollar, right? But here's the question. Do you want to make more money? Do you want to capitalize on ways that you can make more interest and pay less in taxes? Do you want to kill your dreams, shrink your dreams to fit the little money you have? Or do you want to maximize it? One of the best ways you can maximize it is by understanding not just the return on your money, but taxes. What does Uncle Sam have on you? I don't know about you, but Uncle Sam got nothing on me. Why? Because I'm smarter with my money. I understand the taxable consequences. I understand if I pay taxes now, later, or never, advantage, what that's going to do for my bottom line. Sit down with the person who invited you today after Dewey talks to you about the different strategies, and you're going to be blown away at how many tax advantage opportunities you have accessible to you, even with the smallest budget, even with something smart, so even with something small. So to conclude, here are some things that I want you to keep in mind, okay? No matter what you do, no matter who you do it with, at the end of the day, your biggest commitment should be to you. And that commitment should be to grow. You got to learn to invest in yourself, in your knowledge, in your own knowledge. This is why you got to come to the workshops. You want to make sure that no matter what you're doing, there's growth involved, personal development, mind, strategy, money, all of that. But you want to make sure that you also have safety. We know that the world is changing. We know that there's got to be some guardrails that are protecting your money. And Dewey's going to explain some of that to you, right? Tax advantages, super important, protection, amazing. God, you got to go through life from being like that confused guy where all the blocks are everywhere to the guy that is actually have things laid out like a foundation, one brick over another. And it's not an overnight process, but believe me, it's going to be such an incredible, uplifting process for you because you're finally going to feel like you're in control. You're going to finally feel like you're in control. You're going to have your money blueprint, and everybody that's helping you works off of your blueprint, works off of what's most important to you rather than what some guy can sell you outside. Does that make sense? How do I know, Virginia, what's important to me? It's easy. It's called a financial checkup. Just like you go to the doctor, you got to get a checkup. You got to go through a money checkup, finance checkup, right? And you'll learn about the concepts. You'll learn why your blood pressure goes up when the market goes up. You'll learn why Dewey looks so good, right? You're going to learn why all of our people look so good because financially they're not stressed. They know exactly why things are happening. And based on your current situation, if your income, if your job isn't going to allow you to achieve your dreams and to feel comfortable and to live comfortable and to provide for the loved ones you have, then you got to consider making extra money. You got to consider what else can I do? I want you to go through this. When Dewey talks to you about the different ways we can help people, I want you to think about it. Hey, is this something that I need? Just like Stepan said. Yes. Is there somebody I know that also needs this, that could use this concept, that could use this strategy? The answer is yes. And if you can deliver good news, you can deliver something positive about making an impact in our community, because education alone is nothing unless we take action. Action is where we impact. So not only can you have a smarter approach about money, but you can build multiple sources of income. And if that's something you want to look at, man, wait until you hear what Arlex has in store for you. So you can start part-time, we can revolutionize the industry together, and we can bridge financial education and financial independence. Guys, with this in mind, I want to hand this back to Dewey. I know Dewey's going to blow our mind in terms of what he's got in store for us, but this is incredible. Take this seriously. Look at the solutions that are out there. Whether you do something or not, life goes by anyways. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen with everything that we got, because you got one chance. All right, Dewey, love to hear from you, buddy. Go ahead.
All right. Wow. Was that incredible, guys? Let's give Virginia a big hand on that. Virginia, thank you for the kind words. Man, I'm looking younger and younger and younger now. Huh?
That's right.
You just gave me 10 more years to my life, all right? So first of all, let me set this up real quick here. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to share my screen. You know what Virginia shared with us is so important, okay? Because it's all about understanding. It's the education platform. A lot of families out there do not learn like this. Just like Virginia shared with you, I mean, we graduate high school, we get out of school, and guess what happened? Nobody teaches about money. She thought a 401k was $401,000. And I was like, wow, you know what? That is so true because people don't understand these things. But I believe that you have to take charge of your future, and that's an incredible way to start off this meeting. Now, my job is here is that I'm going to share with you some of the concepts. Now we talked about, okay, Virginia, you got my attention. I am living paycheck to paycheck, even though I make very good money. Turn around, where's our money? We've been putting money in something, it's never really growing. How come when the market's going up, my money's growing slowly, but whenever the market's dropping, it really goes down really quick? So now you're wondering, what are the strategies? So I'm going to be sharing with you the strategies right now. Okay. Now, just like she shared with you about the workshops, about building financial foundation, you got to go to our financial education workshops to learn about this. Get with the person who invited you here to go to our financial literacy workshop. We do not charge you for it. We want you to learn it, but we also want you to apply it. So here are some concepts, some financial products out there that you might not know about. You know, 29 years ago, I joined this campaign 29 years now, Virginia. I'm 29. I've been here longer than some of you guys. I've been here longer than Stefan's been alive. Okay, so it's like I look at this coming from a restaurant background. Nobody ever taught me this information. So let's look at this. Let's talk about managed growth strategy. And the question is very simple. The question is this: is that where do you put your money? There are two places people put money. Number one is in safety. And safety, like banks, CDs, safe havens, you know, like, because why do they put it in there? No risk. They're scared. The market's been fluctuating. They don't want to lose their money. Maybe they're close to retirement. They're scared, you know, because if you had $1 million with a 30% dip or 20% dip, just a 20% dip is $200,000. So they don't want to risk their money. But as you can see, when Virginia talked about Rule 72, if you put your money in the bank, you're really not going to make any money and you will go backwards in time. So the second place people put money is in growth, what we call growth. Now, in growth, why do people put money in growth? Because why? They want to have the potential for rate of return. They want to make money with their money. You know, what do we talk about growth? We talk about stocks. We talk about mutual funds. We talk about ETFs. You talk about Bitcoin. You talk about real estate. There's a lot of things out there. So there's risk involved in it. What goes up can go down too. So what happens if we can have the best of both worlds, that we have the power of growth coming together plus safety together? So you get growth plus safety. And when we talk about growth, typically when we talk about growth, there's a cap rate to it. There might be a 12%, 13%, 15% cap rate. So you're not going to get all the returns of the market, but you get a cap rate. But in return, there's what we call a floor rate. That means if the market drops below a certain point, typically 0%, if it goes into a negative territory, you don't lose any money. There's even products these days that, you know what, with the right kind of licenses, that you can get all the upswings of the S&P 500, and then you can also get a buffer, which is a minimum floor on this account too. So there's some incredible things out there, because a lot of people always think that, well, if there's growth, there's got to be a lot of risk to it. But how about we put growth and safety together, that you can have both? Now, let's talk about taxes. There's 3 tax buckets: tax now, tax later. What's the advantages of tax now? Tax now, that you already pay taxes on it. It's after tax dollars. Tax deferred means that every single year your money's growing, you don't pay taxes on it too. See, I always tell people, would you rather pay the seed on the money, the little seed? I want to pay taxes on the seed. Or do you want to pay taxes, Amos, on the entire tree that's bearing all the fruits? I want to pay taxes on that little seed. And then for all the fruits that's ever coming out of that tree, I don't have to pay taxes on it. That'd be nice. So we have to learn about tax advantages out there. Now, our diversified product platform, you know, this is what we have to offer in our company. You know, almost every single financial product that you need help on, that we have a solution for you. Because everyone's family is different. Everyone's investment goal is different. Right now, if you're a young person, you know, maybe investments to you, and maybe if you're starting out in family, you're looking for life insurance, whatever you need, we offer, all the way from protection, all the way to every type of investments out there and other solutions. So I always tell people, whatever the other broker offers you, we can offer the same thing plus more. Because like Virginia said, it is a holistic approach. This is why when we go to the insurance guy only focuses on your life insurance. When you go to an investment guy, the investment guy focuses on life investment only. He doesn't care about your insurance needs. You just focus on one thing. When you come to WSB, when you come to us, we focus what we call the holistic approach. And we want you to become what we call your own money manager. Because you got to learn, there's no one else out there that cares about your money more than you do. So whatever the challenge that you have, we have the solution for you. Then we're backed up by some of the most powerful financial companies out there. You know, this is just a few of them that we offer. We have 180 different product providers to solve a problem. So I'm sure whatever the challenges are, whatever it's either estate planning, all the way down to buy sells, SEP IRAs, just a simple mutual fund, 529 plans, you name it, we have the company for you. Transamerica, Everest, Nationwide Fidelity, Crump, Jackson, Allianz, and many, many more. Okay. So this is not like a one-stop shop. You know, if you go to X company, let's say Fidelity, you're going to buy Fidelity stuff. If you go to Pacific Life directly, you're going to buy Pacific Life. Same with Nationwide. But if you come to WFG, WSB, we have a network of providers that we can bring to the table to help you reach your goals. Now, let's talk about one of the solutions here. This solution is called an Index Universal Life. And this solution, what does it offer? Okay, it offers, number one, it offers life insurance protection. We're going to protect you if, for heaven's sake, something happens to you. If I die too soon, if the man above calls me early, I'm going to take care of your family. Number two, you're going to get to build cash value through our index linked growth account. Our index account, if there's a market return in it, you're going to get a rate of return. You're going to get a credit on it. Then number three is that you're going to get guaranteed downside protection. That means that you get a cap, and then you get what we call a floor. So if the market does -10, -20, you don't lose money in it. You get to maintain the gains of the years before. So just to put it very easily, I'll show you an illustration in a bit. Then you have tax-free supplemental income opportunity. If you put enough money in these contracts and you design them properly, you can actually start withdrawing tax-free earnings on this policy. And then last but not least, you have also riders and living benefits. That if you have cancer, stroke, heart attack, a long-term care incident, we're going to protect you while you're alive. We call that living benefits. So basically, we protect you in all facets of your entire life. If I die too soon, I have protection. Dewey, take care of my family. Number two, if I live a long life, I have cash value growth and I have tax-free supplemental income opportunity. But Dewey, along the way, if I have cancer, stroke, heart attack, I have a long-term care incident, these are things you can't control. Then we have living benefits, and I'm going to get to access my death benefit a little early so it can take care of me. So let me share you an illustration. This is a simple illustration. When Virginia was talking about $500 a little earlier, we always suggest $500 is a good starting point in building your financial foundation. $100 really doesn't get you much. But $500 is a start. $500 is $17 a day, my friend. $17 a day is what we waste on Chipotle. One Chipotle is already $15. And I know people who goes to Chipotle almost every other day. What about a Starbucks in the morning? $8 for a cup of coffee, and some of you guys are really fancy. You got to have a bagel. Then you buy a bagel with it, $15 to $17 already. So we burn, if you look back, you already burn $17 a day. Now, my saying is very simple. This one right here is for a 30-year-old female putting in $6,000 a year. That's roughly $500 a month, $17 a day. See, I have a very simple philosophy on this. It's very easy. If I don't take your $500 and then put it away for you, Starbucks is going to take your money. If I don't put it away, your girlfriend's going to take it. Your boyfriend's going to take it. Target's going to take it. The movie's going to take it. All these little things that you love to spend money on is going to take your money. So let's say you take $6,000, you put it away, you have policy value. This is your cash value, your value in your contract. This is your money in your policy that's earning interest for you with the credits, with the interest account, with the index account. Then you have a surrender value, what you can access. And then you also have what we call death benefit. We're going to take care of your family too. So over time, you build it up, you put in $180,000, and by age 60, you have roughly about $408,000, assuming a 7.25% rate of return. Now, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. But you know what? To me, if you don't put money in there, you're guaranteed not to make anything. So you have $408,000. Now you have about $908,000 in your account. See, can you imagine you burned $180,000 on Starbucks? But now I got you $408,000 saved up for yourself. So let's go a little fast forward. Age 65, you put $210,000 in the account. Now you have over $583,000 in your cash value, tax-free, tax deferred. And if something were to happen to you, you have over $1 million in tax-free death benefit to your family. So let's say you're good. Nothing happens to you. God don't want you. God said, you know what, Dewey? You're better off staying here on earth. Then Dewey, I want some of my money. So Virginia, we're going to give you $36,000 a year. 36,000, you're going to withdraw it from there until age 85. That means you took out a total of $510,000. $510,000 you withdrew out of your policy. You pay zero taxes on it, and you still have over $579,000 in death benefit. So this is just one of the types of plans that we have. Now, of course, you want to get with the person who invited you, with a licensed professional. Run the numbers on you. How much is $500 a month? How much is $1,000 a month? How much is $200 a month? What can I get? What is it going to do for my family, right? So in a nutshell, it's very simple. It's about all it is about what you pay, what you get, what you pay, what you get. So number one, some of our policy have growth uncapped accounts. Number two, you have safety in your policy that if the market drops into a negative territory, you don't lose any money. Number three, you get tax advantages. At age 65, you have $583,000. Age 66, you're taking out $36,000 a year tax-free. So at age 85, you withdrew your $210,000 plus your $510,000. You withdrew a total $720,000. Now, protection, you got death benefit, $500,000 to $1 million of protection, and tax-free access, long-term care, and all that good stuff. Now, what about this? What about you have a lump sum amount of money? Let's say you have $200,000 sitting in the bank. You have $200,000 in an old 401k that you don't work there anymore, and you need to do what we call an IRA rollover. You sold a home and you have the extra cash. Well, guess what? Number one, you get growth potential. When the index are performing at the end of the year, 1 year, 2 year credit, it will give you a rate of return. So that's one. Number two is that there's no downside market risk to your money. This is powerful. So if you put in $200,000 today, 1 year later, the market does negative 20. You do not lose 20%. You maintain your 200,000. If 200,000 you put in this year, you have 10% rate of return, you made 20,000, so your account steps up to $220,000. Next year after that, the market drops, you don't lose that 20,000 you made the year before. So this is a growth and lock approach, like I shared with you a little earlier. Okay? Now, let's take a look at some numbers here. Okay? So, where's all those writings? So let's take a look here. Number one, these are some actual numbers from how it performed. If we're looking at the most recent 10 years, okay, 10 years, you start out with $200,000, you have over $508,000. This is an average rate of return, 9.77%. If I look at the highest index strategies out of the last 20 with 10 years in there, then this account becomes $874,000. At the lowest point in the index performance, after 10 years, $401,000. At least at the worst case scenario, you're just to look at an illustration here is very simple. Age 65. If you look at the rate of return, 1, 10, 24, 12, 12, 16, 28, 24, 0. So you notice here there's not any negatives in the past performance because there's no losses in it. But then your accumulated value continue to grow whenever you get a rate of return. And if you change your mind, you can do an IRA rollover to a better product if there's one out there. Or if you pass away, we're going to give your family the $651,000. So this is accumulation. Now, in a nutshell, basically what do? You get growth, 7 to 12. You get safety, no losses. You get tax advantages. If it's cash, it's tax deferred. If it's IRA, it's tax deferred. If it's a Roth IRA, 5-year holding, zero tax on all the money withdrawal. And guess what, my friends? For this particular product, zero cost, zero upfront charges, zero annual charges. Okay? Run a number for yourself. If you have a 401k somewhere, you want to know, get with the person who invited you and run a number. Now, what about for income? This is the person that says, well, Dewey, I don't have my own pension, but I don't have a pension. I would like a guaranteed source of income. Well, then what about we take a look at what we call the Nationwide New Heights Select 9. This is a way, I always call this, is create your own self-pension. So this, let's say, for example, you have $200,000. This is a male, 55 years old, putting in $200,000. He did an IRA rollover from an old 401k somewhere. He puts it in this account, just forget about it. $200,000, what's his guarantee? So what's he going to get? Number one, you will get a 30% bonus for income purposes. So if you put in $200,000, your account becomes $260,000 for the income portion. Now, every single year, you are going to get a 9.5% rate of return on income. So if the market does higher than 9.5, you'll get the higher. If it does 8%, you get the 9.5%. This is an incredible product through Nationwide. Now, what do you get? Ooh, look at all those red. Now, look, what do you get? So let's say age 67, you're retiring. You will get a guaranteed payout every single year. You will get guaranteed $36,000 a year for the rest of your life. And when you pass away, your wife will get $36,000 for the rest of her life. And if there's any remaining balance inside the account, there will be a death benefit paid out to your family. This is different from your old mama and daddy annuities. Because your old mama and daddy annuities, when you annuitize, you lose control of your money. If you change your mind, that's it. That's what you're going to get every single month. But in this type of product, this index annuity through Nationwide, if I'm taking $36,000 a year and my life expectancy changes and I want to travel the world, I can cash out my policy too. Of course, you got to pay taxes on it. So this has full control over for you in your whole entire future. And so I look at this in a nutshell, very simple here, in a nutshell, is that you put $200,000 in, what do you get? You get growth. You get a 30% bonus for income, 9.5% for 12 years for the accumulation phase. Then you get safety. You get guaranteed no losses in your account. And they continue to pay you lifetime income as long as you're alive and as long as your wife is alive, if you have a joint rider on here, right? And at age 67, your value is $770,000. You're taking out $36,000 a year. By age 90, you withdrew a whopping total $828,000. And you also have a death benefit. Whatever the remaining balance will go to your family. I look at this and I say, this is incredible. That's why you have to start what we call your personal financial strategy and build your finances now. You got to build your financial foundation right now. Now, a lot of time people ask, they ask, well, Dewey, how much, you know what? I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I cut this down. I cut that down. How am I going to save? And by the way, to me, Virginia, you agree, $500 a month is like a starting point. The real numbers has to be a lot higher. And these days with inflation and all the things going on, I mean, yeah, gas in California, I don't know why that's why you guys love Tesla so much, In Texas, Tesla is not too popular yet, right? So if you look at this, where am I going to get the money? I need to put in $1,000 a month. I need to put in more money if I want to save for my future. I need to make more money. I always tell people, Virginia, inflation is not the issue. Because why? You can't control inflation. Have you ever kicked a gas pump and the price went down? It's never. You can kick at it, you can yell at it, you can do whatever you want to it. It'll not go down. We have zero control over inflation, but we have one control over is our income. The next gentleman is going to talk to you about how do you get started in the financial industry. It's so simple. He makes it simple. Follow it. And if this is for you, you could have a brand new career here. So I want to bring up my good friend from Houston, Texas, Mr. Arlex Flores.
Good evening.
Recording in progress.
Can you guys hear me? Wonderful.
Yes, Arlex.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this evening with all of us. I believe, every time I hear the presentation, Virginia talking about, nobody asked me about what I want and they were trying to offer me everything. I relate to that. And what you just said right now, I don't have control of inflation, but I do have control of how much money I can make. That's a decision that I make today. And I always say this very respectfully. Assuming you stay working the next 10 years for the same company where they treat you really, really good and you like it, next 10 years, what are the chances that this company that you like a lot to work for will pay you double your income, will double your income in the next 10 years. And until right now, nobody has answered me. So you know you're not gonna make 2 times more money 10 years from now, assuming you stay at the same company. But one thing for sure, or most likely, is that cost of living will be double. Make sense? So with that being said, you know, what I'm gonna share with you is just how the way we get compensated in this industry, and it is based on 2 concepts. One is called advanced commission, that it has to do with insurance products, and the other one is as earned, which it has to do with investment products. What is the difference? Well, because insurance is based on premiums and promise of, you know, deposits, and investment is based on the amount of dollar the person deposit. So that's why it's called as earned. So the more money they deposit, the bigger your paycheck. So that is the first point you need to understand based on what I call common sense. The second is that we work here in a network. That means that we share commissions. We don't keep 100% of the commission in order for us to be able to build a business. Because of that concept is why I'm here today. Because 22 years ago, as our MC mentioned, I was a debt collector. That was my last job. I was broke and I had no experience. And obviously I didn't know anybody really that had money. That is exactly what I was 22 years ago. 22 years later, I was able to build a business that generates almost $30 million a year and is paying me close to $2 million now on personal income. So with that being said, you know, please use your common sense based on what we talk about today. And the rest, meet with the person who invited you to go more details, because we don't have a lot of time here to go details. We just give you very general. There's a lot of things that you want to learn. And a lot of those things, by the way, are in a book. So if you talk about what Virginia said here, Saving Your Future book, you can get a copy. All details are in there. If you want to learn about what do we talk about, go to workshops. We teach those things in the workshops, and there is a book also. And if you want to learn about what I'm going to talk about, get a business kit. Everything is in there. So we don't hide anything. We're open book. It's just that you have to learn how to read this book. And the person who invited you can teach you, can show you how to learn this book. I mean, how to read this book. So I just give you a very simple goal that I believe is important to know. Have you ever thought about making $1 million a year? And if you have, how do you feel about that? Do you feel afraid? Do you feel confident? Or that's something that you won't even say it? My personal opinion that the bigger the goal, the better. So why is that important? Because let's say you fail to this goal and you only reach 25% of this goal. If you were to reach 25% of the goal, you still make about $250,000 a year. Does that make sense? Would you still be a winner, even if you just do 25% of the goal? By the way, this is the average income you need to make in America now to live the American dream. Doesn't matter which state. I think California is more than that. But outside California, 250. Like in Texas, we're okay with 250. Okay, most families will be very fine, and most states, maybe except California and New York, right? You know those states already. Anyways, so I make it very simple for you. You know, you can join the business as a member. You can be curious, just curious, maybe. And that what it represents is a very light background. They give you access to a platform. And this platform has study for you to study the courses of the license so you can learn more one-on-one. Now, the business kit that I was talking about is about $40 or $50, depending on which state you are. And all the information that we share today is in a package, everything. All of it. So there's nothing we hide from you. So the next thing is, I'm just going to explain to you on the one license, but you can get more. But the most basic license you can get, it's the life and health license, which is the cheapest. It's about $150 between fingerprint course exam and state fee. Some states may be close to $200, okay? We just give you an average. Now, if you want to go investment license, that costs a little bit more, but it's totally worth it. I can guarantee you that, because when I joined, I had to get both. By the way, Virginia tomorrow, she's starting a course for you to get licensed faster. So if I was you and brand new, take advantage that now we're gonna be having courses for you to get your security license. Security license is Series 6 and 63 for you to be able to write variable products or 401ks, IRAs, or rollovers of those nations. Now, the message, it doesn't matter which license. It is important about the license, but the message won't change. This is our message. We believe in helping people build a strong financial foundation. And yes, you need education, and the license is for you to be able to make more money. This is the message that I am passionate about, because I think it's simple enough and it makes a lot of sense. How can you go? Most people, when don't understand, they want to go here as number one. It will not work. It will not help you growth. Does that make sense? Obviously, I didn't get it the first time. I had to listen maybe 10 times. But by the 11th time, man, it started making sense to me. By the way, so the idea is, the more I share this message about building a financial foundation, even with my life license, I can start helping people with insurance products. So based on that, we give you a goal for you to become something called a market director. And that goal is, we call 3,000 target premium, which, whoever invited you can explain more details. But I just give you general information. It's based on the number of accounts. So depending on the size of the account is the number of accounts I had to write. And I do this through training, so I can learn how to explain, how to fill out the application. Does that make sense? With an experienced trainer, that's the idea. Now, the second phase is that I get to build a team of at least 10 licensed agents, and I need 2 of them to become manager. And as I'm building my licensed agents, remember, you become a senior market director, which is similar to owning an agency. So now that you fulfill this goal, and you have to make $30,000 or more, and as game is based on the number of accounts, now let me explain compensation. So compensation is simple, not that difficult. This is what we call advance commission, because assuming I write $500 of premium, this is the total contribution on the account, and this is the payout, and this is the money. Now, if it was an investment account, it has to be about 150,000, because they usually pay 5%, 4%, maybe 6%. But if we do an average, we can say maybe 5%. So if you do 5% of 150,000, it's about that $7,500. Does that make sense? So you can help people. You can make money with advanced commission with insurance products, or you can make money with investment license with as earned. As earned, again, is they make the deposit. So the bigger the deposit, the bigger the commission you're gonna get. Now, this commission, the idea is to share with different agents. That's why it's called a network. We have to be, because the only way somebody's going to be interested on training you is because they have to have an incentive, and vice versa. Once you have experience, the only way you're going to be interested on training other people is because you need to have something called spread or override. That means the difference of commission between you and I. Because if I'm not going to make any commission, why should I train you then? Or why will you train anybody else if you're not going to make any commission at all? Does that make sense? I think it's very common sense. So as a brand new agent, your commission is about, from that is $1,875, based on this $7,500. So the idea is that you write about 3 accounts and you learn a little bit more, and then you get promoted to something called an associate. So now as an associate, your commission bumps to $2,625. By the way, if you do some math, it's really about 40% more money you get from here to here. If you calculate money base, 1,875 to 2,625 is 40% more money. If you do the math. If you don't believe me, just get your calculator and put 1,875 times 40%. And whatever different, you will see this different to that, to 2,625. You will see it. You can do the math. By the way, by the time you write, those premiums, you get experience. Now you become an ND. So that means you can handle now the client, you can explain, you probably need less support. So that's why you get bigger commission now, which is $3,750. So you make more money. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's 40%. Thank you, Gloria Martinez, for making the calculation for me. It is 40% more. I follow the dollar. That's why I make the money I make today, because I learned to follow the dollar. At the end of the day, yeah, I understand you explain percentage to me, but if I have an investment account, you can tell me I made this percent, but I need to see the dollar. If you're gonna make a deposit on my bank, you can tell me this percentage, but I need to see the dollar. Somebody can say I'm gonna deposit 150% to your account, but I need to know, what do you mean 150% of what? Maybe somebody might say I deposit to you 50%, but if 50% delivers more dollar, I think I'll pick 50%. I hope I'm making sense to you. So don't get too impressed for a percentage. Understand what the dollar is. It's more important to you and to your bank account as well. Lastly, by the time you get enough experience, now you can handle a team. So now you can manage the team. That's why you promoted to senior marketing director. So that's why the commission is bigger now. You're making almost $5,000. By the way, this is based on writing one a week. And look at this. And there's people who does this type of incomes, by the way, part-time. Plus 10% on bonuses of whatever income you make. So lastly, you become the senior marketing director. Now you're making $4,875 based on that $500 premium, or based on $150, investment account average. And on personal pay, easily you can just make 5,000, you can make 20,000, up to you. By the way, we don't have quotes. It can be zero, and that's fine too. So whatever you want to do is what we do. You only want to learn, that's fine. You can only learn. You want to make money, let's help some people, let's write some business. Lastly, you get the difference between you and your agents when you train them as they're writing business. Once you're a senior marketing director, that's called override. I call it development income, because you develop people, you make money. So it makes sense. And lastly, I just want to keep it very simple for you. Then the company pays a monthly bonus, it pays annual bonus, gives you stocks at the end of the year, so many incentives you get. You get trips, you get special rewards. Today is a very special day for me, because I was notified that I win one of those tickets to go see a game at San Francisco from the FIFA World Cup, and I'm a very strong fan of soccer. So you have no idea how happy I've been the whole day just to know that I'm going to go see. Well, I already buy one ticket to see one game in Houston, but I'm going to see another game in San Francisco. That was pretty much a reward from the company. One of the companies we represent, which is Trans-American. So there's many things you can get just because you got educated, just because you got licensed, just because you help people, and just because you can use common sense. I hope it's making sense. So lastly, I just give you a little bit of inspiration. I share with you my bonus only. My first bonus this year was something like this. I was very happy, because when I see this paycheck like this, I know it's some type of bonus that hit my account. So that was paid for me on the February 20th. By the way, my income when I joined this business was $22,000 a year. So one bonus alone paid me more than the whole money I make in the entire year. My second bonus on the month of February was the biggest so far, which was 88,000. It was about 77,000. They sent me a text that I was going to get a bonus of this much. Man, I didn't even know how to calculate the bonus, to be honest. So that's why a lot of things I tell people, just go alone, and as you move forward, you'll figure out. Lastly, the bonus from last month, I think I have it here. Let me see. No, this is the bonus for March. I didn't pull up the April one. It was $42K. So my average bonus is about $30,000 a month. And the way I decided to build this business is that I want to make a living just on bonuses. Does that make sense? And with that being said, you need get with the person who invited you to go over details about your life and health license for the state. But if you want to go full course, you want to go on securities license as well, we have that available for you right now. And there's a lot of training, a lot of support for those who wants to go also in the investment world. So we do this because we believe that, because, with Virginia's experience, how wonderful her presentation is, and Do It has strong, he talk about the products and solutions. And me, I just like to talk about the money in a very simple way. But obviously, there's some details you want to learn as you join the business, but use your common sense. Because when I keep saying use your common sense, is that many of us have a fund that is $1,000 or more, and yet sometimes we're afraid to bet on ourselves a couple of $100 to give ourselves a chance to win in life. I said this very respectfully. So I appreciate the time all of you gave us tonight, and I hope what we share with you give you some type of vision about this industry and about our financial literacy campaign. It was an honor for me to share with Virginia and Do It. Thank you so much.
Hey, Arlex, thank you so much for the insights. I think you're such a cool cat. You're such an amazing, simple, keep it simple superstar. I think sometimes people don't, like you said, we've got common sense, but sometimes common sense needs to be pointed out a little bit, right?
Yeah.
First of all, I want to thank you for your time. Dewey, you did an incredible job as well. But I think, time comes where you got to look at life, right? You got to look at life and say, hey, what have I been doing all this time? Where am I going in life, right? You may have made great money. You may have rocked and rolled in life. But the truth of the matter is most people aren't financially secure. Most people are confused about where the world is going. Let me ask you, Arlex just showed you he's making over $2 million just helping people in the financial literacy sector. Do you know what's happening in the next 5 to 10, maximum 15 years? What would you pay? What would you invest to have access to $124 trillion? Not industry. Industry is bigger than that. $124 trillion. My friends, this is what is taking place in the next 5 to 15 years. This is the amount of money that is exchanging hands. Those that are in the process of helping where the funds are going, helping educate what people need to know about their money, helping educate where it needs to go. Whether you do something for yourself or not, the industry is coming up. Look at where Social Security is. Look at the lack. Look at the gaps in people's lives. Guys, what would you pay? What would you invest? How much would you pay for a college education to get an expensive receipt on the wall to have access to over $124 trillion in movement? If you are good at calculating, Arlex did an incredible job with the percentages. Can you count what is 1% of 124 freaking trillion dollars? My gosh. This is one of the biggest wealth waves you're ever going to experience. This will be in history. People are going to write books about this. Economists are going to coin this phrase, the biggest wealth transfer ever. Whether you're inheriting something or not, somebody in your life that you know of is going to come across that. And if you can be that educator, you can be that influencer, you can be that person, that beacon of hope in their life, you're the default, the byproduct of this incredible organization and opportunity is that you're going to make money through it. If you did not see the importance of what we do and how this works and where the industry is going, check your pulse. Please call the person who invited you. Check your pulse. Maybe you got it to go to the emergency room. I don't know. But to pay $125, to pay a few $100s for licensing, for your books, for your materials, to be in this industry, hello, we got to have a wake-up call. Arlex, I just wanted to put that out there. There's more real estate agents than homes being sold. Wake up. There's more life insurance sales agents, over 1.2 million people, just life insurance license, just going from one person to another, selling, cold calling, expiring. They're expiring themselves, right? There's not enough financial advisors. There's not enough financial professionals who can provide that holistic approach to take the time to understand what's most important to them. Here, not only you can do that, not only you've got access to hundreds of thousands of companies and products and services, unlimited, but you've got an incredible platform that will pay you not just for active income, passive income, generational wealth, and this wealth can be inherited by your family. If that doesn't speak volumes, again, please check your pulse, call 911, because if we can't help you, then nobody can help you. I just wanted to put that out there. I think, time is of the essence. There's going to come a time where we no longer can do this trio because we're so busy with the growth and the opportunity of how we serve people. Guys, for yourself, this is a call to action. Get a hold of the person who invited you here. Don't miss out, because if you're not coming in, somebody certainly will be. We want to help everybody. Our motto is no family left behind. 2030, we got to educate 30 million families. You can help us do that. You can be part of that campaign, and you can be part of that serving community that's going to serve you.